start with figuring out what does health look like for me, physically, mentally, emotionally, and work really hard on being good at you.
Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy life. Soul Food on Smooth 98.1.
Love music and love life. This is Soul Food on Smooth 98.1. It's now time for us to talk about your kidney health, especially as the data suggests that chronic kidney disease is a progressive condition that affects about 10% of the general population worldwide. If you put that into context, let's say about 800 million plus people. And then they said it is more prevalent in older individuals, in women, racial minorities, and in people that are experiencing diabetes as well as hypertension. Now, if you come to Nigeria, according to studies, there was one that was done by Ladi Akinyemi and Ajayi. They said that chronic kidney disease is mostly found among men in their productive age who are maybe either diabetic or hypertensive, especially with history of ingesting herbal concoctions and chronic use of analgesic. And then if you move over to the study that was done by Okwonu et al., it said that some of the risk factors were old age, family history, again, obesity, and male gender. Quite interesting how global data does not necessarily reflect that of Nigeria. And some of the reported factors we'll get to later on. So that's why we are talking about this. And you should take a sit. Make sure you invite everybody you care about because, like I said earlier, kidney transplant and dialysis does not come cheap at all. So to talk about the prevention and why you should not even get to the point where you're having to dialyze, I do have someone who is a passionate health advocate. He uses every platform he has to talk about it. I think recently he even released a list of things he thinks you should make investment in, and that includes dialysis center because of the increase in a number of things, including bleaching, but we'll get to that later on. I'm referring to Dr. Olusina Ajidahun. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
It's a pleasure always. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Thank you.
as they say, without further ado, let's even get started with the kidney the kidneys, we have two of them, and their function, what the kidneys do for you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I think it's very, very important, like we actually even talk about what the kidneys do, because if people know how precious and valuable the kidneys are, probably people are going to see the kidneys are like gold mines that they need to protect. So the kidneys are these two, in quote, bean shaped structures. So I like to use that word bean shaped because if you look at them, they're like beans and they're like at your back. You understand? They look like beans, and they are part of the organs that are a very, very vital part. So some of the things they do, one is the kidney. One of the major things the kidney does is it's involved in excretion of toxic waste from the body. So daily, as you eat, you're alive, as you drink, as a lot of things happen in your body, you have toxic wastes are generated, and some of these wastes are very harmful to the body. And what the kidney does is it helps you to excrete this in urine, and you get to pass it out of your body. Now, another thing that the kidney does is it is involved in blood production. Now, the kidney produces a hormone called erythropoietin. Now, this erythropoietin helps to it's involved in blood production. Now, this blood production, majority of that happens in the bone marrow, but the erythropoietin is like a hormone that says, "Oh, get blood produced." It's also involved in what we call the control of what we call electrolytes in the blood. Now we have something. Let me put it in quotes. They're like blood chemicals that go up and down, all of that are necessary for blood functioning. The kidneys are involved in that also. Another very important thing the kidney does is that it's involved in the what we call metabolism of vitamin D. Now, your bones and some other functioning of some hormones in your body need vitamin D, and the kidney is one of those important things that actually does that. And the kidneys also purify. So it's just look at the kidney as like a sieve that is there to like make sure we are healthy. So all in all, let's just say that that's what the kidney does.
Now, with these functions of the kidneys that you have listed, where do you put those who detoxify the body?
Okay, that's good. Another function of the kidney in core, what I just mentioned about the excretion of the waste, is the detoxification. Now, ideally, you don't need to detoxify your body, because if you have a healthy liver and a kidney, why are you detoxifying? Your body will detoxify itself. It was designed to detoxify itself. So you are just wasting your money buying detoxifying things. They are all scams, because what detoxification is detoxification means you are removing toxins from your body, and your liver and your kidney will do that. The liver would break down break down things in your body, and if they are toxic, any form of toxins, your kidneys will excrete them. So why are you detoxifying? You are just doing what a machine has been designed to do, which is a waste of money and a waste of time.
And technically, if you say you're detoxifying, it's still the kidneys that will take it out of your body, right?
Exactly. So, except the person does not have functioning kidneys, why are you detoxifying? We don't, I mean, routinely, that's why, I mean, there's a lot of scams in the market, detoxifying teas, detoxifying milk, and all of those things. Those things are just scams. They have just been built to just steal money from people. If you are healthy, your body will detoxify itself. You don't need no detoxifying tea or detoxifying juice.
Thank you. So we'll take a breather. And when we come back, I'd like to ask you a take on part of what I read out earlier when I said in a study that was done by Ukwonu et al. They said that part of the reported risk factors for chronic kidney disease involves the ones that take herbal concoctions and the likes, as well as the repeated ingestion of analgesics and all the pain relieving drugs. So I want to take your thought on that right after this break. If you're joining us for the first time, this is Soul Food on Smooth 98.1. And every Saturday from 8 till 8:30, we talk about your health and wellness. Today, it is about your kidneys, and we hope you stay tuned.
For the best soul, R&B, jazz, and a bit of funk, keep it tuned in to Smooth 98.1.
I'll be back for you. Make you work for me, my dear. I sincerely, I belong to the chop better girl. Now, why anytime I want chop like this, I dey put better things inside. For my yam porridge, after I don't put my fish, I go come take am with onions, tatashe and ugu, come season am with correct small cubes for that delicious taste. Because my people, good life na life wey you chop better. Sama all your food with correct vegetables, come season am with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
A country that has been gifted with many natural resources.
Offers investors today the opportunity to succeed.
When the market moves, we move with it, observing its changes and trends, analyzing its policies and effects, and bringing to the spotlight the players of the game. It's business talk beyond the headlines, business beyond the figures, business from around the world in a flash.
From regulatory to financial to infrastructure, governance.
Business Express on the Smooth Breakfast.
Okay, we're back.
6:30 a.m.
We are your number one adult contemporary radio station.
We are Smooth 98.1, and you're listening to Soul Food. We're talking about your health and wellness. My name is Oluwaseun. We're streaming live on YouTube. It is at Smooth 91 FM Lagos. That's the channel you're searching for on YouTube. And you can also listen live via the website, or simply search for Smooth 91 FM Lagos on any radio streaming app or website. We're talking about kidney health, the do's and don'ts. Before now, we have discussed the functions of the kidney, as well as what you should not try to make the kidney do. In fact, with his explanation, he being Dr. Olusina Ajidahun, who's my guest this morning, he said that the kidney was designed to detoxify your body. So if you say you are detoxifying yourself again, I think it means you're overworking the kidneys. And according to some researches, it said that part of the things that predispose, I mean, it's very obvious that diabetes and hypertension, we've talked about it a number of times. But then those who take herbal concoctions are more likely to also develop chronic kidney disease. Can you shed light on that?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the thing is, when we have this conversation of herbal concussion, which is popularly called agbo, it is always causing controversy because a lot of
Mhm.
people will tell you that, are you trying to tell us that all our forefathers took? You are trying to tell us not to take it. Now, I've always said something like, one is, herbal concussions are like taking an elixir or a poison because, and I'll come to that shortly, because you don't know how much or how little or what you are taking in. Now, I will never ever discredit the use of herbs in treatment. But the thing is that if you're going to use herbs, and I mean, in countries, you have standardized process whereby these herbs, the ingredients, active ingredients, are removed, they are quantified, they are studied in a lab, the side effects are studied, and all of that. So very good. But what do we have in herbal concussions? We just have leaves that someone takes and have been passed down from generations to generations. They don't know what is inside. They just say, "Oh, they know this thing can happen." Now, some of these herbs actually contain what we call nephrotoxic substances. These are substances that are dangerous to the kidney. It's not even only the kidney. Some of them actually even contain substances that can actually damage the liver, the brain, the organs. So yes, and one thing is studies have shown, and we've been seeing it, that a lot of people that have CKD, I mean, a lot of them actually take just about concussion. I have done a documentary with one award-winning journalist, which I think we released it like I think so like 2 months ago, that was nominated at a film festival. A documentary whereby we followed a celebrity who used to take agbo, and we actually looked at his life. He developed kidney damage. Sadly, before we released the documentary, he died. And that was one of the reasons why we felt like we need to talk about this use of herbal concussion. So herbal concussions are dangerous. And one thing is, a lot of time when these herbal concussions are even produced, sometimes many of these people even add some extra things. So why gamble with your health? It's better you already have orthodox drugs. So why do you want to take chances with your kidneys by taking what you don't really know? You don't even know what's in there. And the problem is that when they come to the hospital, you don't even know what did you really take. They just say you took agbo. You understand? So I would advise, like, a lot of people should stop taking agbo, which is popularly called herbal concussions, because there's an increased rise in what we call chronic kidney diseases, and one of the big culprits is herbal concussions. Thank you.
Now, speaking of drugs, part of it was not just herbal concoction. On one side, you had the herbs, and the other side, you had the chronic use of analgesic.
Okay.
So, how does your chronic use of analgesic predispose you to CKD? That's chronic kidney disease.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, analgesia also can chronic use can actually predispose you to having chronic kidney disease. So let me define chronic disease for context, because I don't think I've mentioned it. So chronic kidney disease is a condition characterized by a gradual, non-reversible destruction of the kidney that happens, progressive loss of kidney function over time. And there are a lot of causes of chronic kidney disease, like you mentioned earlier: hypertension, diabetes, and something called chronic glomerulonephritis are tops. But another thing we know is that use of some drugs can actually cause CKD. Now, very, very important is the ones we call, the class of drug we call NSAIDs. NSAID means non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Common one, number one, diclofenac. I mean, a lot of people abuse diclofenac. Any small pain, menstrual pain, people just pop the diclofenac. Another common one is Felvin. People use for that it is piroxicam, but the popular brand is Felvin. Ibuprofen. Now, these are NSAIDs. Now, how do they work? One of the ways they work is they actually inhibit something called prostaglandins, which, well, I won't go into the integrity of that, which help the kidney to function well. And when you keep using it, and all of that, it can affect the kidney. Another thing is that they can directly actually damage the kidneys. Now, there's something we call acute kidney injury. Some of these drugs, especially the NSAIDs, they can actually directly damage the kidney. So when people are abusing these drugs, it's not only about, oh, I'm getting not to feel pain again. You are inadvertently damaging your liver. I'm sorry, well, some of them damage the liver. You are inadvertently damaging the kidneys, because some of these drugs can actually cause kidney injury. And there's something we call analgesic nephropathy. Now, analgesic nephropathy is also related to this. It's a form of kidney disease that is specific to damage by analgesia. So yes, overuse and abuse of those analgesics can actually damage the kidneys, and especially the NSAIDs, which I mentioned examples, like Lofenac, which is becoming like everyone's chewing gum, and the other ones I mentioned.
Mm. Thank you for your explanation. On WhatsApp, Cisco Delgado says the so-called Agbo and Beaters concussion are very dangerous to our healthcare. If you have anything to say or you have a question to ask, please send it to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 0809-444-0981. Again, WhatsApp is 0809-444-0981, while the call line is 01-448-9981. Again, 01-448-9981. So let's move over to some of those don'ts of kidney health, especially the ones that you have observed in your practice.
Okay, thank you very much. So, don'ts for kidney health, and I think this should be don'ts for 2024. Now, the first one I would say is, okay, should I put the do's and don'ts together? Because it's like I'll be saying do this, don't do this.
You can put them together.
Okay, now the first thing I actually say is like monitor your blood pressure. Very, very important. Now, number one kidney destroyer is hypertension. CKD, close to 60 to 70% of CKDs is caused by high blood pressure. High blood pressure directly damages apart from the other organs it damages the kidney. So this year, 2024, make it that you are going to monitor your blood pressure. Now, the thing is, I mean, on my social media platform, I usually mention that hypertension can affect anybody. A child can have hypertension, a middle-aged person, a teenager, an adult, a middle-aged man. Anyone can have, because people used to think hypertension is only a disease of the elderly. No, yes, it's not for old people. Anybody can have high blood pressure. So right now, the first thing I usually say is don't neglect. So it's a do and don't. Do monitor your blood pressure in 2024. Don't neglect your blood pressure. The next thing is eat a balanced diet. Now why this is very, very important is because a balanced diet is you are what you eat. You understand? And when you don't eat healthy, that one is like, I mean, all your organs can get affected. You understand? So healthy eating. Another one I usually say is that avoid unnecessary use of all these OTC drugs except prescribed by a doctor. Now, it's not only analgesia is not the only one that damages the kidney. There are even some antibiotics that cause what we call nephritis. People don't know the small thing. People just, maybe a small cold like this. I just want to go to the pharmacy or whatever. No, just because at the end of the day, your kidneys are the ones that are going to suffer. So don't just make it a thing where you just want to pop pills, you just want to use drug for anything. Try to see a doctor. Let them guide you on the use of medications, because you cannot afford to abuse drugs, because the kidneys, I'm going to say come to that. Kidney care is very expensive, especially in this economy. Less than 1% of Nigerians can actually afford kidneys, new kidneys. Very true. Kidney diseases is one disease that can run a family from rich to poor, because you find people selling their properties and all of that, and the prognosis is usually very poor. Another thing is to exercise regularly, because we know things like obesity and all of that too can actually contribute to actually contribute to kidney damage. Another very important is I usually advise people occasionally go for routine tests. Now, that is one thing Nigerians are very bad at. Nigerians see the hospital as a death trap, and the only time they want to go to hospitals is when something has really held them down. No, we need to go for routine tests. If it's actually advised, like myself, I do like twice in a year. You can do anyone that's comfortable with you, but I usually advise at least once in a year, go for routine tests. Go for routine labs. Check your kidney function, check your liver function, check your blood sugar, check your liver function, a lot of your organ functioning, because there are many things that if you pick in early stages, you can actually do something. But the problem with Nigerians is that we don't do tests. It is until the kidneys are very, very bad and people come to a hospital when we have what we call end-stage kidney disease. And really, there's nothing you can do for someone that has end-stage kidney diseases. You understand? So people need to do routine tests. Now, I've mentioned it in passing too. Check your blood sugar. Diabetes also is one of the top causes of kidney diseases also. And one thing is we know that, well, usually people can have pre-diabetes and all of that. And if one has diabetes, well, you want to get good control, because if you don't control the person's blood sugar, the person can have a bad kidney damage. Another one is drink water and stay hydrated. One thing that can actually destroy your kidneys is like when you're excessive dehydration. The kidney has an amount of percentage of blood that gets to it, and when one is dehydrated, maybe, I mean, for example, imagine something, someone has things like someone is vomiting or has lost a lot of water for some reasons. The person can actually have what we call an acute kidney injury. So it's very, very advisable. Please get hydrated, drink water. For me, if you find me anywhere, you always find me with a bottle of water, because I like to drink water. Just drink, and this weather again is very hot. So the loss you're going to have from your skin is actually considerable. So have a little bottled water or whatever. If it's pure water, just have water. Drink water. It's very, very necessary. Another thing I usually also would say is, well, if you take alcohol and cigarette, reduce it. I'm of the opinion, especially for alcohol, is like, I usually tell people either you cut, reduce, or stop. I don't believe that people should actually take alcohol in any form, because at the end of the day, the benefits compared to the damages of alcohol are, they are not on the same scale. Smoking, non-negotiable. Stop smoking. Smoking is not good for your healthy kidneys. No, it's not good. So stop smoking. Well, I usually, this one might not just come in context, is always also know your family history. Now we know some kidney disease, like something called polycystic kidney disease, can actually run in families. So it's actually good to understand, oh, mommy, daddy, grandpa. I mean, is there anyone in our family that's had kidney disease? Because sometimes some of these conditions can actually run in families, and it can influence things. Then, if you're on medications, take your medications judiciously. If you're on blood pressure medications, take it very well, because if you stop your drugs suddenly, that high blood pressure can damage the kidneys. If you take diabetes drugs, please take it judiciously, because once your blood sugar gets high, it can damage the kidneys. Lastly, I would say stop taking agbo. I know, I mean, if this gets online, everybody's gonna be like, that doctor, that, I mean, I have gotten so many insults and all of this. I would always say, don't take agbo. It's very important. If you want to take medications, go see your doctor, let them prescribe. Don't gamble with your life by taking herbal concoctions. Like, you don't know what is inside and you don't know how dangerous it is. And I think if you follow these quick little do's and don'ts, I think that you are on your way to having healthy kidneys. Thank you.
Okay, I wish I knew your name. I'm not quite sure, but I think your name is Aduke. You said, I think it's dangerous to say that all herbal concoctions damage your health. All drugs, including the ones that I refer to as orthodox, have side effects. We should be careful what we ingest. These herbal concoctions were used by the West as a foundation for the so-called orthodox medicines. Caution should be emphasized rather than rule out use. Also, maybe we should invest and research how to make the concoction safe. I think, yes, that actually is a point. We should really invest in making these things moderated and safe, because again, like Aduke mentioned, the drugs came out from the plants. Yes, and you mentioned earlier in your words that herbal concoctions can either be elixirs or poisons, because you are not quite sure of the ingredients and the composition, the dosage as well. Those are part of the things that make it quite tricky to take herbal concoctions, dosage, ingredients, and the other drug nutrient interaction. But just be careful of the ones you take, especially the ones you buy out there that they've used a lot of alcohol to draw out. I don't know how they say it.
I think
They
that I put
extract
it
it.
in, yeah, something like that. I've not.
Yeah, those ones are they are dangerous actually. Plus, I think I heard of a report that was made in which a woman who sells these herbal concoctions, people flock to her to buy it. Turns out that she has been putting analgesics into them so that it makes it more potent because they use it for back pain.
Exactly.
Please be
Exactly.
careful. Be careful. We'll take a breather, the final one. And when we come back, we'll be taking more of your text messages. No, your WhatsApp messages. And if you have any call, you better start now. 014489981. While the WhatsApp line is 080944400981. I think we just need to do a lot of research in making herbs better because we have
Exactly.
lots of
Yes, I agree. I agree.
yeah, because we can't just do away with them. There is this leaf that we call miracle leaf. I don't know what that leaf works wonders.
Yeah, we need to like I said, we need to standardize. We need to standardize it. We need to have protocols that guide the use. Until we get to that point, countries, everybody that is going to criticize it, they're going to be citing countries like China and all of that. But these are countries that have protocols, they have regulatory bodies, they are stipulated, they know what's in these herbs. It's not like Nigeria where someone would just go to the farm and cut some leaves and barks and put it in a bottle. So that's the difference. I'm not anti use of herbs, but I'm anti the use of herbal concussions. Still, we have standardization,
Okay,
regulations,
maybe
and
you need to say
guidelines.
that on air. We need to have that on
Okay.
air so that it's clear to everyone.
Okay.
Love music and love life, love your health, and that's why we're talking about it on Soul Food and Smooth 98.1. We're streaming live on YouTube. It is youtube.com/smooth 91 FM Lagos. We've been talking about your kidney health. You have two of them and treat them like gold. My guest has been Dr. Olusina Ajidahun, and he mentioned something which definitely got the response, which is herbal concoction. So behind the scene, he was clarifying something. I'd like you to say it on air.
Okay. I mean, I said it before and I will say it again, is I am not anti-use of herbs. But currently, I am anti use of herbal concussions because I believe that before we can get to that point where we use herbal concussions, we need to have standardization, regulation, protocols, and guidelines that will guide our use. Because one thing is, you cannot say you want to use a drug or something and you don't know how much, how little, what's the side effect, what are the drug interactions. It's unsafe. So I know a lot of people always criticize the forefathers, they didn't do all of that. We know more than our forefathers now. We cannot we can't still wallow in the follies of our forefathers. What we can do is what we encourage partnership between the complementary and alternative medicine. We then have guidelines, protocols. We have research that will say, okay, this particular herb, this is what is in it. Oh, for it to cure these diseases, you need to take this amount. You need to take maybe for this amount. Yes, then we will win. But at this point where we have people that will just go to a farm, cut leaves and all of that, and just no, 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 because we know that drugs, they can actually be toxic if, and some people can even take lethal doses of all of this because you don't know what you've taken. So just to put it in context, I'm not anti the use of herbs. What I'm anti is, until we have standard guidelines, protocols, and rules concerning the use and all, then it's safe for human consumption. So just to put that in context, thank you.
I wonder when we're going to have that standardization in Nigeria. Chimezie from Ijegun says, can some form of exercise cause injury to the kidney? I think I have heard something like that before.
Okay. Well, can some form of exercise cause damage to the kidneys? I will say yes, but that is what we call it. These are things we call like very extreme exercise. It's not something that is very, very common. Exercise itself would not cause damage to the kidneys. When we maybe somebody exercise up to a point, imagine someone exercises up to a point and they have maybe like some form of muscle damage. Maybe they were exercising so heavily and then they have this big like crush injury to some muscles or something we call rhabdomyolysis. Yes, that can, I mean, damage the kidney, but it's not something common, you understand? It's not something common, and it's like the pathophysiology. I mean, how that happens is a bit complex. But exercise, I mean, day-to-day exercise, moderate exercise would not damage the kidneys.
Thank you. Reminds me of the time I came across a BBC article on a woman that died from taking too much water. She took about 5 gallons. And I'm thinking,
Okay.
what were you thinking? That's so much. And speaking
Yeah.
about water, Wilson is asking, he said, your guest said taking water to stay hydrated is one of the ways to have healthy kidneys. What is the actual daily quantity? Some say 5 sachets of pure water, others say 7. What's the exact quantity to keep healthy kidneys?
All right, thank you very much. So at least you should do at least 3 liters of water. Now, if we convert 3 liters, I think one sachet is 50 cl. So that's like 6 in a day. Now, but one thing is like there are no hard and fast rule of this. And that's why when I say people should take water, I would say take adequate, because too much water is dangerous. So there's a difference between too much water and adequate water. I'm not, when we say drink, is what is adequate. We're not saying take too much. So if you do 3 liters, or depending on the loss, sometimes I mentioned like the weather also can increase what we call insensible loss, because of if you have like a very hot weather, you lose more water. You understand? So you might need to top up on that. And the thing is that when you eat also, you also get some little water from some food, maybe so you're taking veggies and fruits and all of that. But ideally, we usually say around like 3 liters. It's very, very good. So if you just keep your consumption to about 3.5 liters, you're good to go, but not too much. Don't go and say, oh, they say I should take water, then you want to try 10 liters,
Oh,
or you want
no.
to drink 3 liters. I mean, that is very dangerous.
And please, as you're taking the water, go to the restroom. That also is important. Then I have another one. Good morning, Smooth. A month ago, I checked my blood pressure at my wife's doctor office. It read 134/82. I was put on blood pressure drugs. After 4 days of taking these drugs, I had to stop because I kept having headaches. I checked a week later and it read 131/82. I stopped the drugs. Yesterday at my wife's doctor place, I checked my BP and it's read 119/74, which she said is good. Now I am an audio engineer and I've had a very busy year. I closed for the year on the 23rd and I have been sleeping and eating since then. Could the rest be the reason for the decline in the blood pressure?
Okay, nice question. So the decline in blood pressure, what it is it's because you're on anti-hypertensive, and whoever I don't know who sent that message. It's a very dangerous thing to do, to stop your drugs suddenly, especially antihypertensive. There are drugs you don't just stop on your own. If you have hypertension and the doctor places you on drugs, if your blood pressure is getting low, your doctor will reduce your drugs. We don't just stop antihypertensive suddenly. So please don't ever stop antihypertensive yourself. And a lot of time when people say, oh, my doctor, my blood pressure is high. It was high before, now it's normal. Can I stop the drugs? One thing you should know, that what is making your blood pressure normal is the medications. So the moment you stop it with time again, you can have very high blood pressures. And something to mention is when one is having things like headaches, blurry vision, chest pain, all of these can be signs of uncontrolled hypertension. So I will tell whoever is listening, yes, there are also other lifestyle modifications. We usually tell people that have high blood pressure, like what you eat, healthy eating, exercise, cut down alcohol, cut down smoking. These are things we know can also increase blood pressure. And obviously, we'll sleep very, very well, but you don't just stop the drug on your own. So if you feel like your blood pressure is, if you say 119, I'm not sure you said 72, that's
Yeah,
very fine.
119/72, yes.
Yeah, that's very fine. You should still continue your drugs. But if it's happening that your blood pressure is dropping, so maybe dropping to like 80 something and all of that, you need to talk to your doctor, and your doctor knows best what's for you. Your doctor will reduce your drugs, you understand? But you saying you just stopped on your own, it's very dangerous. I've seen a lot of people that had stroke after stopping their blood pressure suddenly. Because what happens is they stop their drugs, the blood pressure just shoots up, and when some people just have a stroke, and well, some people have died from that. So it can actually be very, very dangerous. So please don't stop your blood pressure medications. It goes with other drugs used for chronic diseases like diabetes. Same thing. If you stop your drug, your sugar can go up. Or people that have epilepsy, you don't just stop your drug. What happens is, as you're getting good control, your doctor will do what you call a reduction or tailing off or weaning off. But don't take the laws into your hand and say, because you feel your blood pressure is normal, you want to stop. I do hope you find that helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. And on a final note, Chief Cisco Delgado says, my late father died because of serious kidney failure. I remember as a kid that he used to consume alcohol and snuff a lot. And as a teenager, I smoked a lot during my university days and I later quit smoking. Now I am trying to stop anything alcoholic beverages because one is not getting younger anymore. And then he said, please, doctor, you're not anti anything. Rather, you are saving lives through your teachings on healthcare services. Thank you for your messages. On that note, we have come to the end of the chat this morning. Thank you for being a part of it. Your questions, your feedback, your comments, we appreciate it. And your final words, as well as where to find you, Dr. Shino.
Okay, my final word would be that please, this is 2024. The economy is not very friendly. Your kidneys, new kidney care is expensive. If you want to care for your kidneys, if you have a damaged kidney now, you won't spend anything less than 50 million naira. So the best you can do is to what? Protect what you have. Don't joke with your kidneys. Take enough water, avoid smoking, avoid alcohol, live a healthy life, routine tests. These things are cheap because it is better you have prevention because the only cure for something like a chronic kidney disease is a new kidney and a lot of, I mean, I've done a thread on that. Maybe I will read another thread on that again today on social media. Please take care of your kidneys. Kidneys are like gold. They are gold. They are gold. Now, where to find me? I'm very, very active on Twitter. My name there is Dr. Shino. Well, I'm trying to relaunch my Instagram because I've not really been using Instagram. Then I also have a Telegram channel where I post free health content. But if you really want to network with me, Twitter will be the best. Bearded Dr. Shino. You just see my handle there, it's verified. But hopefully you see more video content from me this coming year. So I think that, and I also have an email, and because I also do consultation, so I have an email that you can also send me an email to reach out to me if you have questions, inquiries, or collaboration. I would be love to do that because I'm all about living a healthy life. I want to live long, and I want everyone to live long. And now that healthcare is expensive, let's err more on the side of prevention than cure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shino. It's been a good time with you as always. We look forward to another chat with you. And please take care of your kidneys. The scary thing about kidney care is if you get to the end stage or where you have to depend on dialysis and you're now seeking for transplant, it's one thing for you to be able to afford it. It's another for you to have a donor. It's another for your body to actually accept it.
And
So
you
it's
need drugs to keep the new kidneys. That's another thing people forget. You need, because some people get a new kidney, then they don't have money to keep the new kidney because you need to have drugs that you take so that the kidneys don't fail. So it's not something so easy like that.
Please take care of your kidneys and protect what you have, like Dr. Shino said. Next week, we'll be back again, same time, 8 a.m. on Smooth 98.1. But for now, we will take a breather. And when we come back, the children will be in the studio in Curious Mind on Smooth 98.1. Stay with us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think that went well, right?
It did.